Hello everyone, I'm Annette Hoskins, Program Coordinator for the DEP's Youth Environmental Program. As part of our series, Careers in Conservation, we'll meet 5 people this week working in environmentally related jobs here in West Virginia. Today we'll talk with Kayla Bowyer. Kayla is Program Coordinator at Watoga State Park in Pocahontas County. Beth Henry Vance has her story.
So what's the best thing about your job?
The people. Hands down, it's the people. You never know who you're going to meet. You can run, like just last week, I had people from New Mexico who are traveling across the country. And I had another program where a bunch of locals from Pocahontas County were talking to people from like New Mexico, and they were from, where else were they? They were from outside the state, never been to Watoga, and we all sat down and we were talking about Watoga and Droop and all the local places to go. And when you get to see that and you get to see that community interaction, it sells it. And that's just the adults. When you get the little kids and you get that little kid that runs up to you and gives you a hug, or you watch that glow and you watch them go, Dad, like this is, and you watch that light up and that glow and that happiness, like people hands down are the best part of the job. You gotta be a little bit of a people person to do this job because they're gonna be your highlight.
How did you get started in your career?
I really started off, honestly, I knew I wanted to work in nature. I was a Jurassic Park nerd, loved paleontology, figured that wasn't quite for me, it was Steve Irwin, and then all of a sudden I went to a local state park and there was a woman, kind of dressed like me, and she was talking, she was presenting snakes and taxidermy, and I said, "What's that?" I said, "What is that called?" And she goes, "Well, I'm a naturalist." And she sat down, she talked about, well, degrees in biology, environmental science, things like that were tracks to go to. She said, volunteer at my local park, which I did. There was a nature center I could volunteer at. I was actually 100% volunteer run. I was presenting snakes, I was doing talks on taxidermy and other organisms and animals in the area. And then I worked my way up from there. So volunteered, worked in the park system of maintenance, went to school for environmental science, worked at the nature center there, jumped over to Lake Erie, worked there, went and worked in an Idaho park in the Greater Yellowstone ecosystem after I graduated, bounced back to Ohio, because that's my home state, worked in a place called Mohican State Park, very similar to the mountains down here, but they don't put signs at the top of the hills, they're that small. And then next thing I know, I'm here in the Appalachian Mountains of West Virginia. I knew I was always getting torn towards the mountains, and after being in the Rockies, I realized it was the ones just in my backyard.
What are the biggest challenges you face in your job?
Honestly, there's a lot of trying to figure out what programming will work. My park's different than a lot of other parks with full-timers. I don't have a lodge, I have cabins and campgrounds. So I need to figure out, well, what will a campground person want to do? What will a cabin person, because there is actually a difference between what you're looking for. Then I have to find good locations that people want to come to as well. I need to go, okay, well, this spot in the campground attract those folks, but I also want to be able to drag people at the other campgrounds over. What's my good middle spot for cabin folks? And trying to get what will get the widest audience. What can go, will bobcats work, will tie-dye work? Trying to figure out that programming to best serve my folks at Watoga State Park.
What advice would you give someone going into your profession?
Volunteer, 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 volunteer. Go out and try this. Get your hands dirty. For a lot of folks in West Virginia, you guys are lucky. You can go work as seasonals in high school, and you don't even have to be a naturalist like me. Go out and just work in the park systems. Go see if you can find a lifeguard position, maybe boat maintenance, or boat dock like attendant maintenance, things like that, and get your hands dirty. Go talk to your local naturalists. Go like, hey, what can I do? Can I help you with the program? Go see if there's a foundation. Go see what it takes to do master naturalist. Get out there and try before going and committing to anything longer term. Make sure this is what you love. And there's a lot of opportunities, you just have to look just a little bit.
What education and qualifications prepared you for this job?
I pursued a degree in environmental science from the University of Mount Union up in Ohio, not a very big college. We had a nature center. We went and worked there. I also got a minor in psychology because I knew I'd be communicating with a lot of people. For me, psychology worked better than a communication class and communication minor, but it may be different for you. I know a lot of other folks that are in this field that have done outdoor recreation. You've seen ecotourism, biology, wildlife management, recreation. There's a lot of things. Basically, as long as you're in the environmental field, anything will do. A college degree is really great. Other training I've done, go see if there's training opportunities. Master Naturalist is a really big thing to do. Master Naturalist, Master Gardener. I also had the opportunity with some of the internships I did to get training. So I got training through a program called Teachers on the Estuary when I worked on Lake Erie. Or I also had training through Idaho's Park and Rec interpretive training. So throughout your jobs, see if there's opportunities to advance your career too. So whatever seasonal, even if you're a high schooler, ask, what can I do to train to improve? And just if you're at a place where you're doing naturalist or maintenance, see if there's someone doing like research. Through that, I got to help with electrofishing, which is amazing, and it's kind of cheating, but it's fun. I got to help with bird banding, which is a blast. Not a lot of people get to do that. And I've also done tree IDing and trail cam work and data work like that. Get out of your box. And even beyond just that type of sciences, go help with trails, go help with maintenance, learn how to run a lawnmower, go learn how to run a chainsaw. You never know what your job's gonna be. My job has the opportunity for me to go out and work trails. Just last week, I was on trails with a whole bunch of volunteers. Other naturalists, they may be a whole focus on working trails, or they may do a focus on research sides. So jack of all trades, master of none, better than a master of one is definitely what applies to being a naturalist. So always remember that and try everything. And also, I'd recommend work in like food service or customer relations or something when you're in high school, because you're gonna have to have those skills. You would be like, man, this stinks, I'm doing food service. You'd be amazed. That's gonna be tougher than anything you're gonna have to deal with as a naturalist, and if you can handle that stuff, you can handle working in the parks.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just go out and explore, and you don't even have to be a naturalist through pay or money. You can be a naturalist just by going out and exploring your own backyard. iNaturalist is a great app to have. Seek is a great one. Go out and expand your knowledge. Just sit and find something, like find that grass that's down there and pull it up and look at it, look at that bug, try to ID it, and just foster that passion. Go out and talk to people. Number one thing is find someone who's in a position you want to be with. Maybe it's not technically naturalist, maybe you want to be in the position of like a superintendent or office. Talk to them. We like talking to people. We will talk. Say, hey, do you have a moment? Come on into an office at your local park. I'm at Watoga, or you could come to any of the other parks and go, can somebody tell me what I could do to work in the park system? Or can somebody tell me, I'm pursuing, maybe you're in college, or maybe you're already know, hey, I know what I'm gonna do for college, I'm already set. I'm not quite sure what to do with the entire degree. What's some things I didn't realize? Talk to somebody. Go in and ask what their experience is. Where my experience is going to be a lot different than another naturalist experience. I'm not going to lie, I'm a young gun. So it's going to be very different from somebody else who's been in the game longer than I have. So just ask, talk. We like to talk. So don't be afraid. That was the biggest piece of advice, and that's actually what made me realize this is the career path I wanted on, because I found a naturalist and I talked to her.
Thanks, Beth. We hope you've enjoyed this week's Virtual Youth Environmental Conference. We hope to see you guys again real soon. Until then, I'm Annette Hoskins. Thanks for watching.